Auzubillahiminash-shaytanir-rajim. Bismillahir-rahmanir-rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope all of you and your loved ones would be doing fine and enjoying good health. In our today's discussion, first of all, I would like to mention some of the significant things which you all are supposed to know, I believe. So the first important thing which you guys are supposed to know about, or which you guys are supposed to be informed, is that your final term exams are going to start from the coming Monday. So you are better advised to prepare your final term exams properly. And the second thing is your research assignments, which you will have to submit by the end of your final term exams. Some of you have raised queries about the range of topics which you can choose from for your research assignment. So, in fact, I already have discussed that in detail with all of you if you have gone through the recordings of my previous lectures. And as far as the requirements for the research assignments are concerned, I already have a detailed description about that in my previous recordings. So you just need to listen to the tapes of the lectures which have already been shared with you before. And if still you would have some queries about that, you can write me individually through our WhatsApp group, and I would address your queries on individual basis as well. And the last thing which I wanted to discuss before the start of our today's discussion is that if some of you still doesn't know about your midterm scores, you can contact me through my cell phone number, or through my WhatsApp, and I would let you know about your midterm scores of this course. And as your exams will start from the next Monday, so this week's lecture will be our final discussions. And as far as the topic of our today's discussion is concerned, we will conclude our course outline for this semester with the topic of the end of Cold War. In my today's discussion, I will try to summarize how did the Cold War ended, and what were the events that led to the end of the Cold War. And in the next lecture, which will be our last lecture for this course, I would talk about the new world order which was established after the closure of the Cold War. So, and the reading materials for the past lectures and for this lecture that will be shared with you by tomorrow night, hopefully. And some of you have already asked me to share some reading materials, and I couldn't do that as I mentioned earlier that I was engaged in a sort of medical emergency in the family, so I couldn't carry on with my academic or other assignments recently for the last few days. So inshallah by tomorrow night I'll share all the reading materials about all the lecture tapes with you positively. Uh, Carry on with our today's discussion, that is about the end of Cold War. Uh, Lecture discussion is concerned, we will talk about the following queries, or we will try to focus on these following queries, like was the collapse of the Soviet Union or the USSR due to the force, whether some or uh, it was an economic breakdown, or it was a collapse caused by a direct military conflict. So, and then we will talk about the thought process in the Cold War, which led to various developments during Cold War. And then we will also talk about the ups and downs during the Cold War, and the further developments that occurred in the Cold War between the competitors, especially between the Soviet Union and the United States of America. And then finally we will talk about the tit for tat, like the Soviets' response to the actions of the United States of America. So I will try to cover all these things in our today's lecture. If I won't be able to conclude all these points, perhaps I'll cover these the missing or the left over points in our next lecture discussion. So when we talk about the collapse of the Soviet Union or the USSR, when we look at the history of the international relations, we came to know that it was a collapse not caused by military confrontation, or it was not caused by force. Rather, it was an economic breakdown. So the answer to this very question, that the was the collapse of the Soviet Union caused due to force, so we would say no. It was an economic breakdown rather than a collapse caused by the military confrontation. So we will get into some of the figures over here. The Cold War cost more than 11 trillion. So, but the collapse of the Soviet Union and its satellite states was not the result of force. As we can see that no NATO tank fired a shot on the Soviet Union and its satellite states, and not even a single bomb fell on the Kremlin. So the Cold War got concluded, or it ended with no military confrontation between the two major competitors of this Cold War, Those were the United States of America and the Soviet Union. So, in response to our first query, which we raised over here in our today's discussion, whether the collapse of the Soviet Union was caused by a military confrontation or it was an economic demise, and we came up with the answer that it was not a collapse because of the military confrontation between the two blocs which were created in the Cold War, which started from 1945 and finally ended in 1991 with the disintegration of the Soviet Union. Now we will talk about the process of thaw in Cold War. When we talk about how the Cold War ended, it is imperative for us to know about the various developments which happened in or which occurred in the Cold War time period. So the Cuban Missile Crisis, which we already have discussed in our previous discussion, is one significant event to talk about, because this very event pushed the two major compatriots or confront not two major opponents of the Cold War to go for normalization of relations. So this was the Cuban Missile Crisis was actually the beginning of the process of thaw, that the containment, the and policy of containment and policy of coexistence, like the transfer from the policy of containment to the policy of coexistence, that is all about the process of thaw in Cold War. So after the US withdrew from Vietnam, the policy of containment had suffered a severe blow. So the policy of or the doctrine of containment, which was followed by the United States, actually started to fade with the US withdrawal from the Vietnam, and that Vietnam War dealt a severe blow to the American policy of containment and its international repute as well. So, and we already have talked about the policy of détente or the process of détente in the Cold War. It is actually the easing of hostility or strained relations, especially between the United States of America and the Soviet Union. So when this policy of détente was initiated or was carried on by the leadership of both the major contestants of the Cold War, the leaders from both sides began speaking more openly about working together and limiting hostility. So they both the leadership from both the blocs, especially from the US and the Soviet Union, they decided to work for the work together for normalization of relations and to reduce the element of hostility which was there between them. And the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, also known as SALT, and there were two such treaties, such as SALT 1 and SALT 2, which were concluded in 1972 and 1979 respectively. They were the successes of the policy of Detente, which was pursued by the major contestants of the Cold War. So eventually, this policy slowed the nuclear arms race by limiting warhead numbers and international ballistic intercontinental ballistic missiles, also known as ICBMs. So this process of thaw has a special significance in the events of the Cold War. That's why I tried to speak a little about this thing. And now we will talk about the ups and downs of the Cold War. There were so many ups and downs in the relationships between the United States of America and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. But we would try to highlight some of the significant events, is significant such events. So the first thing which we will discuss over here is the leadership changes from 1979 especially to 1989. We can say in the last decade of the Cold War. When we talk about the leadership of the United States of America, the Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, and Ronald Reagan, they are the ones who played a significant role in the Cold War. Uh, And when we talk about the leadership from the Soviet Union, Leon Brezhnev and Mikhail Gorbachev were the ones who were leading the Soviets at that time. So all the parties look to reduce tensions, whether the leadership from the United States of America and or the leadership from the Soviet side. Uh, in this very decade of the Cold War, all parties were ready to reduce the existing tensions between them and treat each other in a more open fashion. So here we would also mention the process of Detente, which was the cornerstone of this mm, decade of relationship. It was all about relaxing the tensions in the Cold War, and the aim was to focus on discussions, not brinkmanship. So, in the pursuit of Detente, Nixon and Brezhnev from the US side and from the Soviet side, respectively, signed various treaties to limit the numbers of nuclear arms that and to foster economic cooperation and improve political relations between the two superpowers. So then we saw the period in the Cold War when the stalling of the process of data eventually resulted into the rise of a second Cold War. The international events that represents the revival of the Cold War include the Angola Civil War in 1975, where both US and USSR supported opposing groups, and then finally the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979. So these were the two international events where we saw the resurgence of another Cold War after the process of Dayton in the Cold War, and the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan was one of the other reasons behind the collapse of the Soviet Union, which ultimately ended the Cold War. And then the changes in leadership also played a very crucial role to that is associated with the ups and downs in the Cold War, such as the British change of leadership to the British Margaret Thatcher, US President Ronald Reagan. So now we will talk about the further developments that led to the closure of the Cold War between the US and the Soviet Union, the renewal of the arms race that was one another significant development in the Cold War, especially that happened especially after the stalling of the process of data between the Soviets and the Americans, and the Reagan's depiction of Soviets as the empire of evil in 1983 speech, and the joint military exercises Able Archer 83 that took place in 1983. So these were the other developments. Those were very significant and required a mention over here. And as far as the US response to the US action is concerned, as it is bit long discussion, so I would try to cover this point in my last lecture, and I would conclude my next lecture about the discussion of the new world order which was established after the closure of the Cold War. So that's all for our today's discussion, and if you have any queries, please feel free to write your questions to me through our WhatsApp group, and I would try to address your queries in a befitting manner. So another reminder is your exams will start from the coming Monday, so you guys are required to pay proper attention to that and start preparing for your exams in a proper fashion. So that's all for our today's discussion. I'll see you for our next and perhaps the last lecture of this semester. Until then, wish you all the best. Stay safe and healthy. Allah Hafiz.